My beloved children, my brothers and sisters in Christ, I come to you today, not from the gilded halls of the Vatican, not as a distant sovereign seated on the throne.
What if I told you that in just 19 days, the Catholic Church began a transformation unlike anything we've seen in decades, not because of controversy or crisis, but because of quiet, revolutionary acts by one man, Pope Leo XIV. His first 3 weeks in office have stunned bishops, shaken old traditions, and inspired millions. The changes he's making, they aren't symbolic. They're rooted in raw experience and deep conviction. Before we dive into the 7 radical decisions he's made, drop your city in the comments. This isn't just news from the Vatican. It affects the global church. And if you still believe that God can use one humble soul to spark change, tap that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next. One of Pope Leo's first mandates. Every bishop must walk barefoot in a public procession once a year, not in a cathedral, but through the real streets where real people live. Why? Because back in 1987, before anyone called him Pope, Father Robert was a missionary in Peru. A barefoot child led him down a brutal, thorny path to reach his dying sister. Without thinking, he took off his shoes and walked miles under the scorching sun, bleeding, blistered. When he arrived, a woman kissed his torn hands and said, "You came like us. Now we believe you." That moment became his mission. And now, he wants every church leader to truly walk with the people literally. Imagine this, the most exclusive real estate on earth, the Vatican Gardens, now opens each night to the homeless. Warm meals, clean blankets, safety under the stars, no cameras, no headlines, just dignity. This too traces back to his past. In 1979, young Robert volunteered at a soup kitchen in Chicago. One icy night, he sat beside a freezing man on church steps. The man whispered, "Thank you for seeing me. Not for food, not for help, just for being acknowledged." That moment shaped a future pope. Now, he's making sure the invisible are seen, even in the most sacred spaces. Pope Leo has ditched the golden robes and grand symbols. Outside formal events, he wears plain white garments, sometimes even the same shoes he wore in the missions. When asked why, he said, "People are hungry for truth, not fabric." This comes from his days as an Augustinian friar. He wore the same black robe daily, served others quietly, and chose humility over hierarchy. One girl in Peru once told him, "You dress like my father. You must love like him too." Simplicity speaks louder than status. He's carefully updating the church's language. No inclusive, no. He's not changing doctrine, but he's making sure prayers say brothers and sisters, not just brothers. He's allowing small language shifts that help everyone feel like they belong. His philosophy: if the gospel leaves someone out, we told it wrong. A woman once cried after Mass and said, "Today I heard myself in the prayer." That's the kind of church he wants to build, where no one feels invisible in God's house. The Pope has launched a bold plan. Vatican City will go carbon neutral by 2030. Solar panels, waste reduction, no more plastic in Vatican offices. A total shift. Why? Because in 1992, while visiting the Amazon, he saw a village destroyed by deforestation. A young girl told him, "We can't pray under the trees anymore. They're gone." He still remembers that. So he says, there is no holiness in stained glass if the sky above it is dying. Instead of controlling every church decision from Rome, Pope Leo is giving more authority to local dioceses, cultural practices, local prayers, community needs. He wants churches to decide what works best for their own people. He once said, "You can't lead a village from a balcony in Rome. You must walk their roads, hear their voices." That line is from his own time in remote Peru, where people ran their churches with heart, not hierarchy, in a divided world. Pope Leo is building bridges, not walls. He's created interfaith councils that include Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, and more. Their goal, not to debate, but to understand and serve together. He recalls sitting beside a Muslim nurse in a refugee camp, praying in silence as a sick child slept. She said, "We speak to God in different ways, but He hears the same." Pain? For Pope Leo, peace doesn't begin with sermons. It begins with shared silence and open hearts. In just 19 days. These aren't just policy changes. They're personal memories transformed into global mission. Bare feet on Peruvian rocks became a call to humility. One freezing man in Chicago became a reason to open the Vatican gardens. A little girl in the Amazon became the seed for climate justice. Forgotten villages became the model for a new church structure. One tearful prayer became a new voice for the voiceless. This is not the end, this is just the beginning. So here's what I want from you. Which of these changes moved you most? Drop a comment. I read every single one. Hit like if this story gave you hope. Subscribe, because there's more coming, more hidden stories from inside the Vatican, stories that remind us true revolution doesn't come with noise. It comes with quiet acts of love.